Okay, so today we will be doing fascia release work to start with. And in the body, I'll be going through this more detail in my course that I'm creating, but we have fascia lines. There's 7 lines, and the fascia is very fascinating because it really connects the whole body up. And in dissections, they've literally taken this whole chain that starts at the feet and ends up, let's say, at the back of the neck. And there's 7 chains like this. So you can work, let's say you have a pain in the shoulder, and you can work in the palm of the hand and relieve the shoulder because you're affecting the full chain. It changes the chain. And the more I find out about this, the more it's kind of blowing my mind and my world into a whole new level of awareness and discovery and potential of evolving. So we're going to do some work on what's called the deep stomach line, and that actually runs from the back of the heel up the inside of the calf, all of the different adductors into the pelvic floor, and then it goes into the psoas and iliopsoas, and then inside the lungs, and then all the way up and gets into, I don't remember if it's the front or the back. I'm still like learning all of this stuff. So just think, as a potential, if you work on this part, you can affect your lungs and change them and decompress them as a potential. That's just a philosophical concept, but it's a very, very exciting one. So we will actually start with the feet. The reason I wanted a little smaller ball is because it's so penetrating. Kathy, do you have yoga tune-up balls? 1. No. Okay.
I do.
I haven't muted you, so I can't hear you. What do you have?
I have the purple ones. I have the, let me go grab them. Please. I have the little ones in the bag.
Yes, those are the ones I want. So while you get it, we will start right in front of the heel. It's where a lot of the fascia connects up, and there's more than one chain that works on the foot, but we're going to address this one area right here in the middle. And if you actually feel around with your hands, you may be able to feel how there's a tendony, harder area there. And we want to dig into that and then go into the deep layer, because there's some surface layers that connect there as well. So you will, before we start, I'd like you all standing for a minute and just, you know, you can kind of pull your heel and your toes towards each other. So I want you to do that a few times, and it makes the arch of the foot work. I'd like you to notice if you're doing mostly toes or you're also activating the heel, because the heel should be a pulley as well. So just kind of check that. Then take your ball and place it right in front of the heel. And start to push into this area and just feel around a little bit to see what you're feeling. And as you push in, you're going to go through layer and then layer and then layer. And that's what you're looking to achieve. But please do not just do it aggressively. You need to allow your body to release and open and become elastic, because if there's resistance, it means the tissue is really dried and glued together, and whacking it doesn't create the hydration and the softening and youthifying of the body. It just kind of brutalizes it. So you want to be very perceptive to what's going on with you and see if you can get really deep in there, and just take a moment and feel, and very slight micro movements right and left, very slight. Just penetrating and pressing even more. Deep, 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 deep. Come on off and just stand just for a minute and just observe what you notice. Observe what you notice. Go to the other side. So again, right in front of the heel. And I want to just, oh, it must be Ruthie. Ruthie, you want to get your foot weight, foot savers for this, or small ball, very small ball, because we're going to do some deep tight work. So right in
Nicole!
and Ruthie,
Nicole, Oppo?
Ruthie, turn yourself off. I haven't muted.
Sorry.
Yes, everybody's open, but if there's a lot of family background, mute yourself. So press into it, even push in, even more so you sink, and very slight micro movement side to side, seeing how deep you can allow this to happen. And check the alignment of your foot as you do this, because like my heels tend to have been for many years, they were very rolled in, which meant my outside bone was very defined and you couldn't even see the inside line. I'm very slowly moving this heel and changing the shape of my foot to be more evolutionary optimized. How about that? And just kind of see, you may notice that as you kind of spend time there, it goes deeper and you want to see if you can get into that. Oh, there, it just opened up for me. I just felt that sudden tissue opening and spreading, and I feel shivers are going through my body. Yeah. Then come on down. And before we do a retest of what you just did, you're also going to do something else. If you notice, I'm lifting the ball of the one foot and lifting the heel of the other, and then do the opposite. So it's going to give you lots of feedback of differences. Like I have a very different experience on one side than the other. It shows me all the places I need to work. One more time, shift and shift, just to kind of test. So I'm much tighter on my left side, of course. Now come back and take one foot at a time. See if you can find the muscles that go underneath the heel and connect right in here. And they move up the inner deep abdominal line. But see if you can feel and activate the heel pulling to the toe. Now I'm pulling my toe to my heel. Now I'm pulling my heel to my toe. When I started this, it was dead. There was no ability to manipulate that area with my control. Do the same on the other side. Just see if you can feel. And that line connects all the way up, as I said, into the adductor area, pelvic floor, and up. And one more time. Very, very good. All right. Looks good. Let's come on down. So we're moving up now to the inner line of the calf all the way down. A bunch of muscles there, but we won't get too technical about it. If you have accent, now you can do all sorts of balls. You can use the Yamana balls. I want the little balls for the inside, but some people find they like a block. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to create a sandwich. I'm going to take two balls. I'm going to take them out of the tote bag. And one is being pressed. And some people prefer to lie down. You're going to get it into the meaty part of your calf, kind of pulling the calf away from the second bone, the sideline bone, if you can. Just feel around it and see if you can get onto the fibula. Now we're going to get the other ball and dig into it. So a few different ways this can be done. One way is like this. So I can use this leg to push. So what you're going to do, you can push with your other leg, you can dig in with your hands, and you can lie on your side and do it if it's too awkward. Some people are super flexible, can do it more upright, and you can even get your elbow in to wedge the lower one. Now, roll down a little bit, and the one you really want to, the underneath one, this one is a natural, but the one on top is the one we're actually going for. We want to see if we can get into it and press into that area. Now I'm starting to go in. So I'm literally massaging on both sides of the bone to get it to start to release some of the adhesions and some of the congestion in there. Moving down a little bit further. I'm moving the other ball down as well. I'm going to pull dig in. You can also, if you're working with a round ball, the tuna ball, you can start to roll them and get pressure into that area. And or if you find a real tender spot, pause and press in, and now start to manipulate the foot. And you can feel the whole chain start to pull. And that's what we're really dealing with. We're dealing with a chain of connective tissue that runs throughout the whole, they said, a whole, from the foot, it goes all the way up under, as I said, I think it ends in the throat in the front, but probably because it's a frontal line. Move down a little bit more, dig into this area. Down here, it starts to get, for many people, more raw. Except I have to say, these shins are raw for most everybody because we bear weight so much. They get very dehydrated, very dry, and very rigidified. Pressing in, and just down here, I really like moving my foot to find the congestion, where there's tightness. Oh, let's have a go on the other side. So again, the props are not, not, they can be many different things. I could use a bigger ball, a smaller ball. If you're very loose in the hip, you can get on the side. The real teachings are that you're getting pressure and into the tissue of the body. And then as you are more and more aware, there's layers. There can be fascia congestion in the skin, and then there's different layers. It can go all the way up to the bone. There's a whole language, and we want to kind of listen to our body as we do this to start to find where the connection are, what are the chains and where the blocks, really, where we dried up and stuck and kind of less life force going through. So moving the feet around, once you've got yourself locked into a vice, a sandwich of, you may find that you can stretch and open up certain channels. Moving a little bit further down, pressing again. This is where I'm going to start to sandwich with my upper leg because it gives me more leverage. Oh, yes. Now, and I can go up and down. Let's move it. Oh, yes. And the balls do not even need to be exactly one on top of the other. You can do a lot of variations as you start to kind of track your own body. Ah, I just felt my hip release. Love this book. So cool. Moving even further down. There it is in my shin. Now I'm really getting it. And this is very much the line that was so tight for so many years in my body that you couldn't see my inner heel. I mean, my inner ankle ball. For most people, they're very clearly defined. Mine was always sunk in, and my heel was always twisted. So I have to confess, it used to make me crazy in yoga classes where people say, round the heel in the middle and you have your tripod. And I had to deform all the rest of me to get my tripod to work because the line was locked. And yes, there is that concept of good alignment, but then why can't the person achieve the alignment is always the question. I'm going to take my block off and work down and up this final area. Whoa. Press in. Yes. All right, let's come off of here and just lengthen the legs out for a minute and see what your feet and your shins feel like. It should be more movement and more freedom, or a sense of energy and length going in. Our next one, we're going to start working into the adductors. And Ruthie, you put this, you know this from the gold ball. It's like this, but kind of more intensified. If you can get some kind of layering, so you have a height. We will start with the 2 balls in a tote. If you have them, you can work with 1 ball. You can work with a big gray ball or black ball, and then the more small the balls are, the more pinpointy it will get. And we want to start kind of not too challenging. So I got my 2 blocks. Actually, I'm going to do them like this. And I'm on my side. Now, I've got my bottom leg straight, and I'm going to have the top leg on top. That really bad. And I'm taking the balls. Whoops, I'm going to do it lengthwise like this. And you hike into the area of the inner thigh. And you just can roll a little bit, so you're putting pressure. The difference will be instead of rolling the ball too much, you adjust it every time and you find those tender spots. Also, you can start to internally and externally rotate. So you're just starting to get, and I would aim more or less middle of the thigh as high up as you can. We're going to get even higher up in a different way. But this just starts opening up this area, and there's, I remember, 4 or 5 different adductors, and they span, the attachments span pubic bone all the way to the sit bone area, connecting down, and they connect again into the stomach and moving up. And they're actually cover a lot. They are very a big mass. I was just learning. They're very key for when you have back problems, more key than the quads and the hamstrings. And they're usually underdeveloped and underactive and tight. So let's wake them up, send them some stimulation, see if you can get your range of movement a little bit. And then see if you get even higher up. Now I'm getting right into where it starts to be tender and talking to me, and I can feel, you may feel strings, and one of the strings is more communicative, and that's one of the adductors that's got more going on, and the sense of pain or sense of tightness is very much again a fixed pattern. And I'm finding if I just go up a little bit, I can get even more pressure in. So come on down and let's have a go on the other side. You're on your side, you get the foot up, and then you get the ball in. And again, if you're a very open person, you may find that you want to be more this way to get the pressure in, like stomach down. If your adductors are very tight, you will be more like I am, more lateral. You want to just get that shaft of muscle and also internal, external rotation going. Doing that in your own, following up to a certain extent what feels right for you. Getting as much pressure in there as you possibly can. Just moving a little bit further. The other thing you can play with as you do this, notice where your kneecap is, and you can start to lengthen the shin bone. What I really invite you to pay attention as you do this, when we straighten our knee, we usually push it down. You see how I'm pushing my knee down? So I've actually shortened the thigh muscles when I do that. So if you can just have the knee as is, and then see if you can extend the heel and the lower leg without helping to get the concept of a straight leg. you will get deeper into your muscles and length, create more length and allow for realignment. Be aware of what happens very often as the leg gets straighter than you roll in, which means there's zigzag patterns in other muscle groups, and we want to slowly lengthen that area. Just a little bit more. And let's come off of here. Come up to a standing position. And again, just stand, have your feet under your hips, and do this movement where the heel goes, you push the heel on one side and you lift the heel on the other. And it's kind of adjusting in the hips. I'm more centered now. I was kind of swinging way over, but this is a little bit nice and long, getting longer. Now we're going to get deeper up in here, and I would like to have you with the chair. I think you're going to get much more effect. You're going to get into the pelvic floor and then into some of the rotator muscles. So when you're sitting, I would recommend a small ball to begin with. You have your two sit bones, and then you have your pubic bone and your tailbone. So we want the space in between. That's really the pelvic floor. And I'd like to have you take a small ball, tennis ball is good, and place it in. Now, if you're very, very open there, you want to be able to sink down between the sit bones and then maybe roll a little bit forward. Okay, take a moment to let the ball really sink down. And that's where it's really nice to have this smaller ball. You can work with the bigger balls, but you won't get right in between all these bones and start to open them. So you're actually in your pelvic floor area right now. And very lightly move your knees out and in, and you may feel how much, again, that band is connecting in with the legs. If it's extreme for you, you could lift up a little bit and then kind of sink down. So take your time. If it's too much to go all the way down on the balls, don't. Kind of keep yourself elevated. This is a very, very powerful part of the body because it basically supports the whole foundation of the trunk. Now, let's do a little bit of breathing where you're going to breathe all the way down into the abdomen and see if you can feel the pelvic floor. I'm like keeping myself a tad off of the full sit. So I'm going to take a breath in, and as I breathe in, I'm going to breathe down. So, and you should feel yourself, your organs pushing down into the pelvic floor, and it actually drops and widens from the breath, and then breathe out. And it will come up a bit. So when you breathe in, you press into the belly and you send the breath down. And breathe out. And again, breathe in. And breathe out. Now we're going to do something interesting. You have your two sit bones. You're going to breathe in and then see if you can contract the two sit bones toward each other. So let's take a breath in. And now can you contract the sit bones? It's like they are muscles that will connect across that shaft if you can find them. And you kind of, now breathe out. And now contract again and see if you can get a sense of pulling up that contraction of the sit bones way down. Imagine a tube. You're lifting everything up inside the body. And then relax. Now breathe in again. Breathe down, you're pressing down to the pelvic floor. Breathe out. And this time you're going to take the pubic bone and the tailbone and see if you can pull them this way. contract them towards each other. And at the same time, feel that you're lifting this whole floor up. It's like a cube. And relax. One more time, we'll do that second version. You're just going to breathe in, push down into your pelvic floor, breathe out, and pubic bone and tailbone. See if you can connect and wake up that and pull up at the same time. And then relax and just for a minute, come off of this and stand up because that's real intense. Just feel what your legs feel like. And again, lifting. And see if you can start to feel the inner line lifting and pressing down. So now we're attempting to be more sensitive. I keep having to wake up the adductors in my left leg. They don't, now I'm making them more. And now let's sit back down on the chair. We're going to get the ball in again. Just to be with you, you could probably even do it with the foot waker. I don't think you have these. So we're now going to focus. So you have this whole floor and area of bone actually between the pubic bone and the sit bone, and there's a ridge around here. And we want to massage all along that ridge because it gets very tight. We have all the rotator muscles in there, all the attachments. So this time, see if you can wedge the ball more into the inside of a sit bone. So you're getting the inside of the bone and just feel around in there. And you can actually, so you're just working and you can go all the way up towards your pubic bone. So just back and forth on that one ridge. This is very intimate work. You hardly ever get body work into this area. It's a huge game changer on so many things. Many women, they've had a birth. I've never been a mother that had, I carried children, but there's a lot of things that go on down here. There's a lot of sexual abuse. It can be surgeries, C-section, so much stuff down here. And to a great extent, people can get very disconnected and will have so much adhesion and tightness and really very little that they explore in their own body. And this can be profound to restore hydration, restore sensitivity, restore, decongest a lot of scarring and a lot of adhesions. Just kind of move around with a lot of sensitivity into this area. And then let's go and explore the other side. So now I've got the wedge into my other. So I'm starting at the sit bone because it's a nice, easy place to feel around. And then you work the edge of the bone down there towards your pubic bone. And the tissue on the inside or on the outside of that bone. So there's a lot that goes down there. And again, the tightness here can be a major contributor to restricted hips, tight legs, lack of energy in the legs, lack of energy in the stomach. Very powerful. Feeling through in that area. And then come off the ball. Sitting on the edge of your chair, just open and close your knees in a very light way and see if things feel different. Oh, okay, my left sit bone is starting to come down a bit. It usually is hiked up, and I can now feel it more even with the right side. And definitely more looseness. And then come just for a minute to sit and see if you can get a sense of your own pelvic floor facing down and stacking your body on top of this area. So we'll do it without the ball. I'd like you to breathe in and see if you can feel how the breath would penetrate all the way down. So you can feel an expansion in there and then a contraction as you do that. And breathe in, down into that area, and out. One more time like this, breathing in. Feeling that pressure down in the groundedness. And notice as well, if you're sitting properly, it's almost like the pelvis is under the lungs. So we all have patterns. I've been very much one of these kind of people. So my lungs were very forward and I created a lot of tightness. So being aware of the physics of the body and starting to take them, there's a point where you're right on top and you can just relax. You're just stacked, basically, with the right elements of support, which is what we're looking for. And from here, we're actually going to go on a journey up under the into the collarbone. There's a very small muscle that attaches from the very top of the collarbone and runs under. And what was it? And normally people, it's considered that it's keeping. Oh God, it was so interesting. I'm doing this course right now. I'm learning so many things. But traditionally, there was an explanation for the purpose of that bone, that muscle, but it was incorrect with the newer research and understanding. And this more just keeps the collarbone on in a stable way so that the shoulder girdle operates in relation to the shoulders. Most people's shoulder girdle is holding the head up because it's gotten all confused and jammed up. So what we will do is we're going to work with this a small ball right under the collarbone, and we're going to come back to the floor. And a real nice way, again, now you can go back and use a black ball if you want a softer texture. I am going to work with a small ball. It's nice to have, if the ball is smaller, it's really nice to have some kind of elevation so that you can take the ball and place it. I'm kind of getting, so I'm going to go even higher. So I'm wedging. Yes, there we go. So I'm wedging the ball right below the collarbone and very slowly moving from the shoulder area, the deltoid, just very slowly across. And I can feel the tightness. I'm anticipating you can feel it as well. In a sense, I know we're going back and forth, but you want to be thinking that this will potentiate a widening of the collarbone on the rib cage and help. Maybe a little bit of a bigger ball. Actually, I like the bigger ball better because I'm more in control. I like the small balls a lot, but sometimes it takes a bit of time to figure out how to make it work. And each ball, whether it's a Yamana ball or another tool, is going to help. It has its own language and its own effect. So paying attention and using different instruments just keeps expanding your capacity to interact with the world around you. Because the body is a sensory machine and it's always interacting. We're going to shift to the other side with the environment, even if it's just breathing. And it's making adjustments in relation to the environment. And we are using a lot of this technique to sensitize and open and optimize this incredible computer or life force. I don't even know how to say it. So that children, for example, they fall and they jump right back up. They've had impact, but no big deal because they're also able to receive. Maybe not, maybe they start crying. But adults, we get brittle and we get dry. So we fall and we break because that soft tissue malleability has been, um, you know, dried up, and we're more vulnerable for changes. But with this kind of work, we can really shift things back. Let's have you come up to a seated position now and sit maybe cross-legged, and see if you can get a sense of being on top of the pelvic floor. What's the sensation in your hips, and what is the sensation here? So I'm hoping you have a natural sense of a lift and an openness that's coming into your body. Well, both Kathy and Ruthie, we're doing a short class because I have to get Wally to the vet for an injection for itching. And we are going to do a few Kundalini exercise now to kind of get the energy moving through our body and optimize ourselves. So if you want a pillow, get yourself a pillow. If you feel more capable of being grounded right here, absolutely fine. And everybody's seated. Let's just do a quick tuning in. We'll do 3 Om Namo. So please rub your hands together to get the energy going. We've been doing it manually with the balls. Now we're going to do it with our own moving and living in this wonderful temple. Bring the hands to the heart center. Take a deep breath in. Close your eyes and join me. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Inhale again. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Inhale again. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Inhale and hold your breath. Exhale, bring your hands to your knees with the palms up. Just feel your own energy and open your eyes. So we will have a, this time easy pose, put the right hand in the lap. So right hand down and left hand is like this at a 60-degree angle out. See if you can just get a sense of reaching. So we opened up a little bit. Maybe we want this energy sending out through the arm. The fingers are bending backwards. The elbows and spine is straight. And you pull out as much as possible. It will put pressure on the elbow muscles. So we will hold this. I'm going to wing it because my clock is over there for about 2 minutes. So close your eyes and just keep breathing and focus on the sensation. Focus on the openness in the whole chest area. We worked on that with the ball a little bit. Focus on the pelvic floor and the alignment of the trunk on top of it. And that you're kind of balancing all these forces of tension and relaxation and weights and stacking them so that you can be fluidic in nature, not over tight, not over loose, just in balance. Just keep holding the position and start to deepen your breath. Taking in with the breathing down. So the whole trunk is breathing, the whole body is breathing. And the fingers are stretching way back to open up that channel all the way to the tips. And then bring your hand down, and we will do the same with the other hand. So again, fingers down, energy going out. So we're opening this channel up, but you're staying with the lungs over the pelvis. Reaching tension in the elbow to get that traction in. So even this is a form of stretching connective tissue. It's muscle, connective tissue, and bone. Slow, deep breathing. Expanding out, drawing energy deep into the body, and on the exhalation, sending and expanding the extremity out even further. Bring your hand back to your lap. The right hand is sitting inside the left hand, and just sit and feel the space. Again, now both hands, same position, but both hands out. Press out, expand the chest as best you can. Watch that you're not hyperextending the chest or arching the spine. Lungs over the pelvis, and again, breathing. Finish your exhalation. Bring the hands to the knees with the palms up. Keep your eyes closed and feel the shift. Slowly open your eyes. Our next one, again, we will make fists. So we have a fist, the thumb is on the outside. Again, we go out here, and now we do slow circles. So we're really drawing energy all the way up into towards the hands, towards the upper extremities. We worked in the lower extremities. Now we're working into the arms. Once you kind of feel good with what you're doing, just close your eyes and very conscientiously do as big an articulation as you're able to. All those channels from the elbow into the fingers and the hands get very tight. You do a lot of computer work, a lot of finger work. Reverse the circles, and this starts to kind of spread out what is going through those arms. See if you can almost feel like a bird reaching out. Very strange human bird. And now start to bend the elbows in. So as you bend them in, tighten and squeeze the fist. Squeeze the muscle. Squeeze everything tight, 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 tight. You're bringing your elbows and your side of your little fingers together. So you're bringing these arms across the body. Contract the front chest very strongly. Feel the elbows, spreading the shoulder blades. Press tight, 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 tight. Relax. Palms up and rest on your knees. Slowly open your eyes. Our next one, straight, the fingers and thumbs. Okay, couple of my hands. Okay, so the thumbs are just a little bit in, and oh, I thought we were circling, but it's not. Oh, do not use rapid fire heavy breathing. Oh, okay. Oh, I see. That's why they're saying you're going to want to scream. They say in the instructions it's for 10 minutes. We're not doing this for 10 minutes. We're just holding tight, cupping, close the eyes. Now feel, see if you can feel this balance between the front chest and the back chest. So sometimes if we're overinflated in the front, we disengage the pecs. Women very often disengage the pecs. They have no idea what they are for, and they don't know how to find them. They think they do well. We try to stand up straight and be very open, but there is actually a sheath that runs in the front and in the back, and you want to see if you can even it out and extend. And close your eyes in the middle. Keep the muscles of the arms tight and strong, so you're squeezing them. Then you find the deltoids and the triceps, and you make them work. So in a sense, you almost can feel them connecting in from the shoulder blades if you have that whole chain of awareness in you. Take a breath in, squeeze even more, breathe out, bring the hands to your knees and rest. Slowly open your eyes. Our next one, we will be with the hands straight up. Now, once the hands are up, you're going to be index finger, third finger, ring finger, little finger, and repeating it. So we're going to stretch our arms up and just start. Index finger in, middle finger in, ring finger, I'm already confused, and little finger. And then keep the arms really tight to the ears, even if your shoulders come up. So keep going now. I won't say which finger because some of us move faster or we have more control of the fingers than others. This is actually a brain exercise because activating each digit in your hand activates a different part. The brain, different part of the brain has to work. Whoa, is my ring finger tight. So just keep on going. Keep on going. We'll do this last one. I'm laughing at my own very messy ring finger lift on the left side. And then relax the hands down and sit. Open your eyes and cobra. Now the whole front line of the body is being stretched a little bit. Depends how flexible you are. You may want to go up high. You may want to stay very low to the ground. The most important thing is that you have a sense of opening. Now, this is the thing. You have your head straight, and you're going to put your tongue as far out as you can to keep breathing. So really opening the tongue. So we're opening up the deep channel in the front of the body, in a sense. So on your stomach, I am not going up very far. I want to distribute this well. If you're flexible, you can go up as high as you want to. Your feet will be hipped. Let's keep them going straight down to the hips. You don't bring them together. You keep them hips apart. And then you lift up, looking to get as much of a stretch as possible. And you can use the yoga team as well. Oh, let's do it. This is not a traditional class. Take two little balls and put them right between in the groin area, just a little bit above. Here's my pubic bone. Here's my hip bones kind of in the middle here. That'll help lift you and open up the area of the hip flexors that get very tight. So if you have your balls cradled in there, you're going to find that it gives you more traction. And yes. So just get yourself into the position. Oh, this feels so good. And send your tongue out as far as you can. Look straight ahead. So you're not going to close your eyes. And just breathe. And as you do it, you want to breathe a little bit deeper. See if you can send the breath all the way down to the ball. Now, one last breath. Roll your eyes up to the crown of your head. Keep the tongue out. Hold it. And then breathe out. You can keep the balls there if you want to. You can take them out. Put your hands in a little pillow. Turn your head to one side and relax. And then sit back with your heels. And very last one, sitting cross-legged. Take the balls, and now you're going to place one on either side out. I hope I can do this and hold it. Look, I want them really outside the sit bone area, so it's kind of in the, not sure. I have to be just outside the sit bones. I'm actually off the floor. If you can have your sit bones on the floor and the balls are just cradling the outside of your thighs a little bit, that's good, because what we're going, maybe that's better. What we're going to do is just bend forward from here. Some people can take their head to the floor. It's not working for me. I'm going to and just lift the hand up and stretch. And take slowly. Bring yourself back up. Bring your hands to your knees. And just finish. Let's open our eyes. We're going to end with one long satna, root mantra, meaning truth is my name, affirming who we are, affirming our vibration, affirming the truth of our authentic self. Let's bring our hands together into prayer pose. Take a deep breath in and keep going. Bow your head to your heart. May the mind always be the same today. And then lift your head and open your eyes and sat nam, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this creative class today.
It was great.